Lighthouse.
Welcome to the Movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. My name's James.
My name's Nico.
I'm Wyndham.
I'm Laurie.
How is everybody? You alright?
Yeah, we're good. I'm certainly good, thank you.
Very good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good,
Tail end
yes.
of a cold, so I'm
Yeah.
a bit nasally.
I'm a little bit worse for wear. It's my
It was your
birthday
birthday
today.
last
It
night.
was.
Sick.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Did we sing, James?
No, but we don't need to do it now.
Okay, all right.
You're looking quite good for 30. I think I've seen much worse 30-year-olds than yourself.
Alright, so before we get into it, we made a little bit of an error on our last podcast. There was a maths mistake.
Oh.
So I'm not
You're
going to do the
notorious
maths
for this.
Yeah, I'm not doing the maths again. Because it's too under pressure, you know. It's like, I thought I was quite good at maths, but maybe I'm not. But apparently,
Coming out and washing.
we gave it an average of 45.25, and it should have scored 35. So,
In the mouth of madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
35.
So 35.
Out of a, what?
100.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Pour in the mouth of madness. I
like it again.
I like it again. Once I've got over, bloody hell. I like it.
I blame
got a nice aftertaste.
I blame Nico's TV and technology because
It did render it in real clarity for us, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're not supposed to watch that film in such high definition.
I should have
Yeah.
taken my glasses off.
But no, this is an interesting point that's made me start thinking, because like films like Eraserhead and these kind of things that you see. When you saw Eraserhead, you saw that on VHS. It had a quality about it, this, that, and the other. And do you really want to see Eraserhead in crystal clear? I don't know. I think it's a different experience. Obviously the formats that you look at particular films.
What you're
on
saying is you
will
actually need to
affect-
watch it in a machine that has an eraser head,
Well, yeah,
basically.
Yeah, it does,
Something
doesn't
that-
it?
yeah.
You're right.
Well-
But there's the media that you're watching the film on, and obviously nowadays with obviously mobile phones and all that stuff. And I know Lynch himself said it's complete bullshit. No one can watch a fucking film on a phone or a tablet. We shouldn't be doing that. But that's obviously a medium we now have to look at. But anyway, I just find it interesting. What.
I'd like to say about that, though, that the recent revisit of Twin Peaks that he did,
Yeah.
I don't think that stands up to scrutiny of watching it on a decent screen. You really see... I mean, I know he's selling a kind of crapness as part of his thing.
Yeah.
But, it really looked crap, and the scenes
Maybe it's your TV. Maybe everything you're watching is just...
Maybe, yeah. God, I got totally gone.
But it's bad quality. If it's a bit fuzzy around the edges, it leads itself a bit more to that sort of dream experience. If it's too sharp,
Is it
Yeah.
do we
exposed
dream
if
like
it's
that?
too sharp?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I felt with, that was when I was watching Twin Peaks, the fact that it was, you're looking at it in quite a nice sharp medium, and then you've got these really old school crappy film,
That I love.
which are great, but I
Right.
don't think they stand up to watching on a big curved screen.
Right.
You're watching that. I actually think it worked better because I saw some of that on the big thing downstairs, and I watched some of it on my iPad upstairs. Other brands of tablets apply.
Although you can send us some iPads if you like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not the BBC.
Yeah,
absolutely. iPads, which are great. When I watched a few episodes on that, I actually thought it looked better. So, David Lynch, eat your words, mofo.
Anyway, we've had some mail, which is exciting.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Yeah, what they're saying.
So this is from Connor McDonnell, all the way from Canada, and he's talking about our last show. I really enjoyed this, guys. Lots of laughs and good movie choices. I love In the Mouth of Madness, so I'm a bit miffed. Why don't you kick the shit out of Event Horizon next and finish me off good and proper? Would have really liked to hear you guys take on From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. The opening monologue in the convenience store by Michael Parks inspired Kevin Smith to write Red State and Tusk just to work with him. I know lots of stupid stuff too. Not sure what that quite meant at the end. But I take it it's talking about Tusk, the film that came out a couple years ago. I love that film.
It is good. It is
Yeah,
good.
and it turns
didn't
into a
only get
walrus.
half- That's it. I did only get halfway through with it though, but yeah, it was
It's very
great.
disturbing because it's body dysmorphia, which is my kind of
Yeah,
disturbing thing. Right, anyway.
that's his thing.
Right, so we've got some news. We have our Movie Lighthouse Advent Calendar. It's day 3 at the moment. Has everybody been looking at the Advent Calendar?
I've seen the first two.
Well, I only just did the last one, so...
What was the last? I haven't actually seen them. What are they? What were they?
I'm so glad you said it first.
Have you got
Laurie.
any good ones?
I was kind of thinking, shall I do that? Yeah, of course. Just fill us in a little bit, James.
Well,
Yeah,
we've just got a few pictures that we're going to put. We're going to put some stuff up every day on the run up to Christmas, and then we've got something quite exciting over Christmas. We are going to do the 12 days of Christmas. So every day over the 12 days of Christmas, Laurie, which starts on.
Well, yeah, you see, you've informed me. I thought the 12 days of Christmas was the lead up to, but it turns out it's the 12 days starting from Christmas Day itself, after.
Yes.
leading
Well,
up to Epiphany.
Heavens be praised. And Epiphany,
Epiphany is actually the day, if this is your particular thing, would be the day that you should celebrate Christmas, if you're being particularly old-fashioned about it, because it's the day the three wise men arrived with the gifts for the dear Lord baby Jesus.
Did he not get there on Christmas Eve?
Didn't you love that?
You'd have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have thought they'd have arrived for Christmas. How wise are they?
All right. So we're releasing bonus podcasts every day
Across the 12 days.
Across the 12 days. So
And what's the subject matter?
well, I'm going to kind of keep it a surprise, like Christmas itself.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But do listen to those; they should be pretty good. All right, so bit of news. Anyone been watching Stranger Things?
Yeah.
I have seen Stranger Things.
Just brilliant.
Have we all watched all of them?
I've got 3 to go.
Okay.
I've got 3 to go.
What did you think of those last 3, Laurie?
Laurie, reviews a film he's never seen before. Reviews a film he's never seen. Yeah.
I'll ease off on the save that actually. But yeah, it started. I really loved the first series, and I knew I was in for a treat the minute I saw the credits. That opening credits, that sort of italic, the fallibility of the italic sort of fuzzing a bit, that red Stranger Things crossing over, and the music, I was like, right, okay, this is made by someone that loves the kind of films that I love. And obviously it being set at the time of when I was a kid, so adored it. First series was great. Second series was like, because you're not getting as many reveals. You're not, first of all meeting these characters for the first time kind of thing. But sort of 3 episodes in, it starts sort of cranking up a gear. It sort of repeats a little bit with the whole, now rather than Christmas tree lights, we've got drawings, the whole map bit, and Mum's figuring it out. She's a cool mum. But yeah, it kicked off, and I love it. Yeah, completely love it.
When?
I quite like the fact that Burke Carter J from Aliens is in.
Yes. He's redeemed himself.
He's redeemed himself, yeah. So the guy in Aliens,
Yeah.
who is the company man,
It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
indeed him.
Who's he?
He's the guy who runs the whole square building now.
The Doctor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's aged, hasn't he?
yeah, he has.
I think he looks all right.
But clearly, there's spoilers involved in this, right?
Yeah.
So you start off thinking he's going to be another version of
Yeah.
Matthew
Burke.
Modine
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
right.
the first one.
Papa.
Yeah. So you think he's going to be another
always
kind
gonna
of
be Papa from
a
now on,
replacement for him, and then he does redeem himself as the season goes on, and you realise that actually he's not this murderous, awful.
Because when you see him anyway, you see Burke, he's like,
Yeah,
right, he's
exactly.
a shitbag. We cannot trust this dude.
Yeah.
And then there's that moment, it's like, oh, good old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
What about you, Nico?
I really enjoyed it, and I watched the whole thing when it came out, sort of over a period of maybe 48 hours.
Sweet.
Much to the joy of my family. Where's Daddy gone? It's Stranger Things, come on! But I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, and it's like you're saying about the stuff being revealed. You kind of got a much clearer idea of what's going on already. Also, there's something about 11 in the first one, and I hate it's not as superficial as just she had a crew cut. There's something so vulnerable and, the childlike breakability of her that didn't really seem to exist in the second season, which for me was a really compelling factor in making it work. The fact you really, it stimulates or brings up that protective instinct from you. You'd like to get into the screen just to give her a hug and say, "Don't worry, I'll help you."
Yeah.
And now it's like, God, she's the last person who needs any help. Now you know what she can do, which I've seen that in other films. In my quest to find actually, I'm not going to go on too much about, because we're going to talk about some of our favourite films of the year.
Yeah,
but there's a similar element in what I did pick for my favourite film of the year. So I'm not going to go into that one now, but I think that's a real trigger point for me, is little girls that need help and are very vulnerable.
Yeah.
That sounds really wrong. To help and
Have you
protect.
got ice cream,
not
though?
to, you know what I mean? I'm going to stop now. I'll just turn myself into Harvey Weinstein. I'll stop. But yeah, that really worked in the first one. It wasn't such a thing for the second one. And I generally thought, you know, with the first one, when you suddenly realise, oh my God, we're watching E.T. here.
Yeah,
well, the things get referenced. Now it's kind of like, you know that these things are going to get referenced. You know that they've got a thing about, you know, the old Spielberg movies of the 80s. And yeah, it's just giving you a bit more of the same. So I wasn't as compelled.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is Dustin. I just think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I think he makes that show. The other kids are good, but, you know, he's just very watchable.
It became his kind of season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
you know, when you watch Dustin, he fills in holes in your memories of the people that played roles like that in the 80s. So when I think back about Goonies and I think back about E.T., and I'm sure Dustin was in them.
All right, so
it's been signed for a third season as well.
Oh, has
which
it?
I presume is just going to be a really horrible descent for Hopper into a painful death, because he was inhaling all of that stuff in the Upside Down or whatever. It's just awful, right? So, but nobody seemed to mind about it. It's just this weird stuff being released into the air.
Yeah.
People inhaling it.
That's
And
good.
that can't be good for you.
That's going to play havoc, isn't it? That is.
It's got to.
It's going to put a road through him. I love the actual Goonies guy. What's his name? The actor's name? The boyfriend of Sean Astin.
Yeah, he was good.
Oh, he was so good. Because he was in The Strain. I don't know if you saw that, but The Strain, the guy who made Pan's Labyrinth, the director guy...
Del
Toro, yes.
Benito del
That's
Toro.
it.
Yeah.
So he did a series called The Strain, which is kind of about these kind of sort of monster vampire kind of things, and Sean Astin was in that. They didn't do anything with the character. It was awful. It was a real sort of kind of a career low, I thought. And then he turned up here and was like, oh, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. When you watched Lord of the Rings, Samwise Gamgee made me cry quite a lot, just of his love for Frodo and all that. And it's kind of
those whole films made me cry. They went on.
He did. But no, I thought he was really great in it. I really loved the fact that he was there.
All right, so we've got an email from a guy called Cab Hully, who gave us a bit of a review about Stranger Things. It's pretty long, so I've chopped it down a little bit, but I'll just sort of read you guys a bit and see what you think. Right, Stranger Things 2, appropriately referred to as a sequel, it does everything a good sequel should do. It expands on the world, the characters, and the overall feeling. Nothing has been lost in the time between seasons. The Duffer Brothers continue to subvert expectations, all the while giving us what we wanted to see. They've walked the line perfectly between fan service and storytelling. It's a high-concept science fiction horror story about another world attempting to invade our own world, only to be fooled by regular folks and someone with a gift. It's a story we've seen literally thousands of times. Yet, with the amazing storytelling skills of the aforementioned brothers and Sean Levy, the tremendous acting skills of the entire cast, and the great effects work, we're given an enthralling new take on an old story. And it doesn't hurt that the show not only acknowledges and even advertises the works that came before it. In summation, it's one hell of a show that I think virtually any viewer can not only get behind but potentially fall in love with, as I'm sure many have. P.S. Love the podcast, guys. Keep up the banter. Keep expanding, and I'll keep listening.
Well, there we are.
Nice.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's
great.
Summed it up. Yeah, I liked it. It's all right. Right, we'll keep moving on. Right, so another bit of news. Shada has come to DVD. I got my copy yesterday, which will mean absolutely nothing to you.
You watched Shada, James?
Okay, so in, 1977, 1978... there were loads of strikes at the BBC, and one of the final stories of a season of Doctor Who, starring Tom Baker, was halfway through the production, and it had to be cancelled due to strikes. So it's basically half of it is just sat around for years, and they did like a VHS release with Tom Baker like filling in the missing scenes, and then about 10 years ago they did an online version, a webcast with Paul McGann playing the Doctor in like the story, and now they've basically animated all the missing bits, and they've got the surviving original cast back in to voice it.
Oh, fantastic!
So I've watched a little bit of it. It's pretty good. I mean, you have to forgive, Tom Baker is clocking on a bit now, so his voice, he can't, he's old. You can tell he's old, but
They should have got, is it Ian Coleshaw?
yeah, John Coleshaw.
John Coleshaw.
Yeah, but no, I think it's going to be good.
Who wrote that particular story?
Douglas Adams.
Ooh,
yeah. So
meaty.
That makes it more interesting for me.
Yeah,
I like Douglas Adams.
yeah, and
Did you watch Dirk Gently?
I saw the first season.
Oh, right, yeah. Is there a second season?
I think they're either filming it or they are post.
Right, okay.
Did
Did you enjoy it?
I
loved it.
It's one of those adaptations that I did enjoy it, but it's never going to quite be... Because there are two adaptations, actually. You're talking about the British one or the American one?
I'm talking about the American one with...
Can't remember the guy's
Yeah.
name. Yeah,
With
yeah.
people
So,
in it.
yeah.
Had
Those
people in it.
actors.
Yeah.
We
What's
really
it
need to
called?
get on top of this. We really need to know who's in what.
Yeah,
But yes, I really did enjoy it. But I think that there are certain writers who, when you have a novelist, the medium they've chosen is deliberate, right? The novel or the book or whatever is a different way of telling a story to TV or film.
Yeah, yeah.
And the trouble in transitioning one to the other, I think, if you are a fan of the original work, it becomes apparent.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel that that's something you definitely felt while you were watching
it
this?
just didn't... It wasn't quite, for me,
Yeah.
Douglas Adams on screen,
Right.
but then that's really difficult because
Yeah.
the guy is a genius was a genius in many ways.
yeah.
What are you talking about? Say it again. I didn't hear what you said.
Dirk Gently.
Dirk Gently.
Yeah, which was when Douglas Adams, correct me if I'm wrong here, when he was writing for Doctor Who, which was only a fairly brief period, some of his ideas he came up with were pretty mad and out there. And
Right.
the BBC were like, no, we're not having a kitten that turns into a shark and eats people in the air. That's not really very Doctor Who. And so he developed this other character, which, there's some timey-wimey Doctor Who-y type things in it, but it's more mad, more out there.
Yeah.
And he's a bit young and cool and hip and a bit more like what Doctor Who is nowadays, actually. Well, I say young, hip and cool. Obviously, Capaldi is hip and cool. But it just, I thought it was a really quirky, cool character that's kind of not, there's so little machismo or kind of... I'm gonna. He gets things done by being weird and quirky and unusual and strange and a little bit, sort of a bit of a nerd. And it's but just in a brilliant way that makes the do get done. So I really enjoyed it, and having watched it, I said that's brilliant. My kids are into Doctor. I've got to sit down and watch this with the kids. And I sat down and watched it. And of course, the first 5 minutes are just like, oh my god, there's blood and guts everywhere and dismembered bodies, and turn it off. And the kids are still in therapy.
Whoops.
All
That
right.
sounds cool. I've never heard of that. That sounds cool.
Right, we better get on with things then. So, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and review the movie Crash.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
That was exhausting.
Right, so Laurie, this was
If you could
your
just put your clothes back on, that'd be really good.
this was your pick.
Yes.
Tell us a bit.
So
about
I
it.
picked Crash. So obviously we are the movie lighthouse, all right. So we are here to shine the light through the fog of film. Is that correct?
Yeah, I said that at the start.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're highlighting films that we feel, are definitely worth a watch.
You sound a
Also-
bit defensive already.
Yeah.
Wait, because there was a moment where I thought, well, is this, a little bit, I don't know. But anyway, so we've got Crash, David Cronenberg's film. At the time when it was released, it was controversial. I think the Daily Mail
And the Evening Standard.
and the Evening Standard were trying to do everything they could to apparently ban it. Don't quite know, bless their cottons. But anyway,
Mary Whitehouse was still in effect.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still that attitude in those kind of pressure groups of,
Yeah.
you showed some stocking tops. Awful.
Yeah. And this is what I say though. I mean, for me, as we go around, we each of us will make suggestions for films and stuff like that. But I think this is a film definitely worth mentioning and highlighting and watching, because it talks about a lot of stuff that I think actually are quite important in what's going on nowadays in in life, in humanity.
But tell us what it's about.
Okay, Crash. I can't remember what number film of Cronenberg this is, but in 1996 it was released. It has. Can we start this whole bit again? Should we or not?
No,
just
crack on.
keep going.
Just, what's the film about?
Just tell us what it's about, Laurie.
Okay, right. Okay, based on a book by J.G. Ballard, written in 1963. Essentially, J.G. Ballard wrote this book, which was sort of an invitation into looking at how technology can effectively pervert us. All right, and he was using the automobile, the car.
Laurie,
Yeah.
what's the film about? For God's sake, man.
Just imagine you
Tell us
haven't
what
seen
the
it.
film's
Imagine
about.
you haven't seen it, and then
And
review
then you
it.
can get as deep as you want. But what is it about?
It's basically about how technology can pervert us. If we allow technology,
It's about people who get off on watching car crashes or getting involved in car crashes. Is it?
yeah, okay, right, yeah. In a nutshell, it is that. It kind of is that. Yes, it is that. People getting perversely knocked off by the experience of smashing into other people and coming very close to that death moment, and then becoming addicted to that and becoming perverted by that. It is that. But I suppose the original work, and as I say, by J.G. Ballard, is really how, in '63, effectively the car's still quite a new thing, isn't it? We're everyone
Certainly a
suddenly
new
now
thing for
has this.
everyone having a car.
Yeah.
That idea of lots of people having cars as opposed to the village nurse and some bigwig having a car. It was
Exactly.
when it was really starting to become a normal thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And effectively, this virus in humanity across the world, cars, more cars. And I'm not a driver, but obviously, I know what it's like to sit in a car. You're in your perfect little shut-off world in a way. And then you get this character that experiences a crash, a very, very bad crash, nearly dies, witnesses someone dying right next to him, covered in the guy's blood. And from that experience, is changed, effectively. Right at the beginning of the film, though, you learn that this dude is a deviant. He's a sexual deviant, as is his wife. That's what they do, all right? But now he's taken into a whole new kettle of fish after this crash, as it were. So then we go into that.
I think it's interesting you saying about them being deviants, because I guess it depends on your interpretation of that word. But so I think there are two ways to look at this film. You can either look at it really superficially, in which case it's a weird thing about a group of people who get their rocks off through car crashes and, as you said, proximity to danger and death and all that kind of thing. Or you can start looking at it at a deeper level. What's Cronenberg trying to say? Yeah. And that your deviant comment about Deborah Unger's character and James Spader's characters. The opening scene is Deborah Unger having sex in an aircraft hangar, right?
Yeah.
And the second scene is James Spader having sex in a back room off a film set. But if you look at those two characters, they appear completely disconnected to the activity that they are partaking in.
They're not actually interested in the other person they're having sex with.
So
what they're interested in, it seems to me, is that they're both in situations where if they could get caught, there's an element of danger, and it's almost like that kind of. That's something we could probably most of us relate to in some way. That idea of adding a bit of extra danger and excitement to it might be arousing. Whereas with the car crash, you've just gone so far into the danger and not excitement, but the fear element. That where's the sex gone? Where's the passion gone? And I think that's what was interesting about it. It's moved to a level where you're completely divorced from the action of sex.
Exactly. So those first two scenes are establishing the fact that we've got these two characters who are searching for something, that the mundanity of normal life is not enough. They need more.
And they come back and compare notes, don't they?
Exactly.
On the balcony. They're both sort of together, but.
So that for us, you kind of go, well, this is different. This doesn't form the normal relationships that we're all used to and we're brought up to believe in. And then, as you say, Nico, what happens after that is this massive divergence off into, well, you're looking for something different. Here it is.
Yeah.
this is something completely different to explore, and that's where we get those kind of feelings of it's a deviant film, it's perverted, it's this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And it's easy to attach those tags to it. But if you're looking at what Cronenberg is investigating with that concept of this film, I think you kind of have to take away those tags, because it's not just about that, which is what the Daily Mail and the Evening Standard got up in arms about. It was like, these people are perverts, we shouldn't be exposing society to this interesting concept of actually we're all looking for a bit more, because the society we've built is numbing. It's not exciting anymore. It's really safe. You don't have to spend energy or time surviving anymore. So where are we getting our kind of influences, and where are we getting our excitement from, and the purpose for being?
That's it.
And I think another interesting thing about it is, if you want to make a film about fetishism of some kind, not about a specific thing for a specific market, like, here's this thing, it's for people that like dressing up as dogs or whatever it is. If you want to make something that's just about the idea of it, if you make it about an existing fetish that lots of people have, then it's kind of going to be a titillating movie for a lot of people. Whereas if you make a movie that's ultimately about a fetish, and I bet you the number of people out there that have a fetish for anything to do with car crashes, I bet it's small to non-existent. And I didn't really think that existed.
No,
I've always said, if you can imagine it, there's websites dedicated to it. But I hadn't searched. I doubt if there are many fetishy websites for car crashes. I think that's just too much of a juxtaposition. So by making a film that explores fetishism through something that nobody is actually going to have a fetish for, it kind of really starts looking at the question of, why do we pin sexuality to things that aren't sexual? Why would, I don't know, someone get excited by leather gloves or something like that when it doesn't actually have anything to do with the act of sex? And that's, I think, really, for me, what the film is largely about. It's about what's going on. How does such big emotion from one area get subverted into something completely different?
I found it a bit depressing, really. I didn't come away thinking, oh yeah, that was really good. And I watched it, I remember seeing it when it first came out. Yeah. Because obviously there's that scene where the guy has sex with the wound.
Yeah. Rosanna Arquette's character, Gabriel, is crippled, I guess. You never find out what it. I don't think you find out what it was.
No, there is
a car crash.
Oh, was it?
It's
that
gotta
would
be.
make sense, right? But no, my point is, throughout the film, there's a lot of. They're not explaining everything. There's a lot of stuff that this is just about the environment these people are in real life. You don't find out about Deborah Unger's job. You don't find out about the Vaughan character. He's had a whole load of jobs, but they never pin him down to one thing specifically.
I think he was an air traffic analyst or something like that.
Yeah, and a photographer. Some description. But yeah, anyway, Gabrielle has a very pronounced scar,
and that scar is
down her leg.
Really a Cronenberg wound.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And the scene where Ballard, Spader's character, and Gabrielle are having sex in a car, because basically they all shag each other.
Yeah.
Everybody has sex with everybody.
Yeah.
And there's the I guess the unusualness, and also it's not the right word, but they're having to escalate what they're doing more and more to fully experience the sexual gratification or explore it, that he ends up having sex with her leg scar. Yeah.
So, I mean, you say it was a bummer. I don't think it's really a film about fetish. It's obviously it's playing more on, like I say, about the way technology can pervert us, and it's that sort of exploration into obviously just using the car, I suppose, as that sort of narrative. Obviously in tandem with sex, because they're constantly at it. But you say it was a bummer, and effectively that element is a bummer, I suppose. The way we can be manipulated and changed. Obviously nowadays with the phone, what that's really become. I have kids and stuff. It's like, where's this all going to go? It's getting a bit weird. But yeah, that element is a bummer. But you've got, James Spader has this massive crash. So their relationship, him and his wife, they were doing their thing. Now he's off on one. So she's got to make that conscious decision. Okay, do I follow him? Yeah? And it's kind of her story in a way, following her husband. And she gets to that point, you're right near the end, finally, she has a massive crash. She nearly dies. And they get to shag and be together at the end. Happy ending. It's a lovely, wonderful love story, kind of thing.
So, just moving on a bit, what do we think of the performances? Do we like them?
Brilliant.
I thought they were good. I thought they were good.
Brilliant. Vaughan, come on.
Yeah, he was very
Wow.
good. Yeah, I think he was my favourite.
Yeah.
I think something that I thought was quite interesting about it is kind of pre-internet, or certainly the very beginnings of the internet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there was still this kind of role for titillation in movies that kind of doesn't exist so much now. If you want to see things titillating, you can easily go and do that. You don't need film directors doing it for you. And so there's still these kind of lingering views of a stocking top and all this kind of stuff, which I think exists less now in cinema releases. But also, if you were to ask the internet, of your own algorithms, hey Google, come up for us with what you think would be a great film for human beings. Google would think of all the traffic it gets and goes, well, you love watching people having sex. You seem to love cars, and you love people falling over and having accidents. I hear you even find it funny.
Wow, this is great.
Let's put it all together and make this movie for you. And what you'd get is this thing that you're like, well, that's completely dry and meaningless, and it doesn't do anything for me. But it's all the things you love, So in a way, I think that's with a bit of distance of time, I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. But it's still, for me, it's still a bit left me feeling cold. And if I certainly wasn't driven to say I have to kind of watch all of this through into the. It was, it wasn't. By about halfway through it, I wasn't really that into it anymore. To be honest,
but I think
I loved
I
it.
kind of came away from that's almost felt like part of the purpose of it. You're not supposed to come and bounce out of that film kind of going, that was amazing, everybody's got to go and see it, it left me feeling upbeat and happy and all these different emotions. That I think, I read into it that Cronenberg is getting at the point that technology drives distance, so emotional distance. So we can get from here to there much quicker, and we're connected via Skype to people on the other side of the world, all that kind of stuff, but fundamentally it drives us emotionally apart and forces us to look for that kind of emotional connection and excitement in places that we previously didn't have to or would never have occurred to us. So for me, the performances are really cold. But they're supposed to be. And they're delivered, I think, brilliantly. The guy who plays Vaughan, Elias Koteas, I've completely butchered how you pronounce his name there, so apologies. I think he's the most animated of them all because he's the puppet master of this auto crash eroticism or whatever it is. So he's the one who draws them in and pushes them out and pulls them back in and moves them around and takes them further on this journey. But even he is still this kind of sociopath.
Right. I saw him as sort of like this sort of sensitive, extra sensitive character that was obviously just aware of really what the car's doing, kind of thing, and just obviously really went with it. I mean, was it Gene Mansfield crash? That bit, that's where the film really kicked
Jane
off.
Mansfield, I think.
Was it Jane Mansfield?
Yeah, I think so.
That moment, I absolutely loved it.
I love the set pieces of the crashes. Right, I think we better score it.
Okay.
All right, and you can give a little final thought. So Nico, I'm going to come to you first.
Out of 100?
Out of 100, please.
55.
55. How come?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought the characters were good. I wasn't really gripped by it, and I think the idea that it's not meant to be gripping. I think things can be dark and unpleasant and still really draw you in a way that you then are left slightly questioning yourself for enjoying it so much. Whereas I think the coldness I felt rubbed off a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think you come back to it and watch it again?
Yeah, I could do. Yeah.
Wyndham.
I think that last question is quite an interesting one because I was going to score it early 60s.
Yeah.
But would I go back and watch it again? Probably not. So I'm going to reduce my score to 59.
Okay.
Are you doing maths?
I'm doing maths as well, yeah. You screwed it up though. I'm going to have to start again.
I'll get to my scoring. So I love a film that has, that has nourishment, and this film, it challenges you, it makes you think of stuff, albeit it might be stuff that not happy-go-lucky stuff, but it is a challenging film, and I got to the end of it and I felt, my hour and a half to 2 hours kind of had, a purpose to it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well made. The acting was great. But it's been said that this is one of Cronenberg's sort of most perfect films. And when I think about it, yeah, I mean, every single scene had a movement and an arc. It was abrasive, it was challenging. So I'm going to score this quite high, I think. I'm probably going to go, I'm going to go 81.
81.
That's really, really quite high, isn't it? But
well, that's your choice.
yeah,
that's all right.
It is one of those films you wouldn't want to go running back and seeing again. Ooh, but I think maybe 10 years time. Let's see where the iPad goes. Let's see how our children's heads start growing, and then maybe I might want to go back to it again.
All right, and for the same reasons that we've all said, really, it did leave me kind of cold, but I did appreciate the film, and when I think back to it, there were some really striking moments, especially the James Dean crash, and all the kind of slow subversion into that world. So I'm going to give it 63.
I think it's one of those films that if you're after just a no-brainer, we just want to be entertained for an hour and a half. This is not that film.
Yeah.
But if you want a film that actually gives you an opportunity to start interrogating your thoughts on certain things, the subjects it raises, I think it's a really interesting film.
Absolutely. Right, so that means that the Lighthouse Appreciation rating is 64.5%.
It's pretty good.
Which is pretty good.
Are you sure about that?
I'm definitely sure. Yeah. Okay. Please write in if I've got it wrong again. But if we put it on our leaderboard, that means it's at the top.
It is at the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done, Crash.
Yeah, well done, Crash. You are in the lead. All right, so all that's left to do is choose next time's subject.
Okay.
I have my bag of balls here.
There they are.
Right, and it's Wyndham's pick this time.
Okay.
So, no, you get to pick the ball
I
as
get
well?
to pick the ball
Well,
then.
if you want, yeah.
I thought I rummaged in your ball. You picked the
I
ball
know.
last time, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Pick a ball.
You picked Crash. Right?
I don't know.
No. Laurie picked
turn.
Crash.
No,
It's your pick.
Nico picked
Oh, right,
the-
okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
We don't know how this process works. Okay.
Let's hope we don't get another 90s film, for God's sake.
I have either, so we've got a bit of wiggle room here, 99 or 66.
It doesn't have anything to
Well, it does.
differentiate
I think it's a
It doesn't
99.
go up to 99, so it's got to be 66.
Oh. I thought you said there were 100 balls.
There are 90 balls. Alright, so 66 is 1966.
Ah!
Wow.
Right, okay, so we'll be back in a minute with our selections for Wyndham's pick. Alright, and we're back. So, we've got our choices. Wyndham, it's your call this month.
Okay.
So, let's go in clockwise order. Laurie, your choices?
I've got 6.
Right, we'll choose one. Quick.
Oh, this is tricky as hell. Right, okay. So I'm just going to quickly zap through the ones.
No, just choose one.
Oh, can I just say
No, you
notable
can't.
shout-outs at the end?
No, because we've got our choices. Choose one film.
Mario Bava's Kill Baby Kill.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay.
I've never heard of that film, by the way.
It's a cracker.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm going to go for Dalek Invasion Earth 2150. It's a brilliant film. It's got Bernard Cribbins in it. Peter Cushing.
Are we doing the pitch as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, you've done your pitch. That was great. And it's the Daleks in glorious Technicolor. It's brilliant, and there's so much to talk about. It's such a good film.
Okay. I don't mean to disrespect anybody's choices. Please don't make me watch a Dalek movie.
Don't influence Wyndham.
All right. Wyndham, it's entirely up to you. I wouldn't like to influence you.
Well, just say what
to
your
not
film
make
is.
me watch a Dalek movie. I'm going to suggest François Truffaut's Fahrenheit 451, which is based on a Ray Bradbury novel. And just to give you an idea of the vibe of it, the original posters from '66 said, "A flame with excitement and emotions of tomorrow." So if that doesn't make you want to watch it, I don't know what does.
Is this the one on the train?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay.
I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the film. I'm aware of it. Apparently, Fahrenheit 451 is the burning point of paper, and it's about a society where books are banned and that kind of intellectualism is banned. And so it's a writer writing about
That's a
books
true
being
form.
banned.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to say anything?
I'd
about
have to do my splop on Kill Baby Kill, Mario Bava. It's a horror. He's an Italian director, so it's a giallo film, arguably, and it's basically this sort of gothic town, and there's a ghost of a girl that is haunting the town. Really great. I think the film's inspired.
Brilliant pitch.
People cite it as David Lynch. You'll see quite a bit of sort of Twin Peaks in there.
Right, that's it. That's
Okay.
enough.
It's
Stop
cracker.
influencing it.
Can I just quickly
And can I say
I-
we shouldn't
are the
criticise
shout-out
other
films
people's
of the year?
choices, regardless of our views on Daleks or whatever.
I'm
No, you
so
can't shout out.
sorry.
No,
They-
no more talking.
Listen,
No.
I always get cornered by...
We can do it next. We can do it next month, but not now.
Isn't the idea that we sell
Other
the idea of our
shout-outs
film?
of
We've
Yeah.
sold them next month. Little Wyndham.
Okay.
Right. So this is actually a really easy choice
Oh,
for me.
thank you, Wyn.
Because I have read Fahrenheit 451, and I think it is an amazing book. I think there will be a huge amount to talk about. So I'm going to pick yours, Nico.
Thank you very
Fahrenheit
much.
451.
Also, it's just been put together for. They're making a TV version of it. So when we've done it, at some point later on, we'll be able to compare it to the
Brilliant.
Netflix or whatever version of it.
Brilliant.
All right, guys. Right. Well, I think that's it. That's it for
Cool.
this episode. Have a happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
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 Oh, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun?
bless you
These
all.
festivals
Merry
we
Christmas.
do.
I'll see you all soon. Happy James.
Oh, I'm Nico. I still am. Yeah,
You've been, Nico, because you're going now.
but I still am Nico.
Okay.
But thank you. Here I am. Bye.
Bye then.
I've been Romain Wyndham.
Yeah, and I'm Laurie.
See you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Lighthouse.